Hello and welcome to Caring for Me, Caring for You, a thought and a prayer for the week. Yes, I am back in New York with a new computer, so the coloration is not exactly right, but Donnie's not here, so you know I've got to check that out later. But I didn't want this time to go by without having a moment to spend with you, to share a bit more about all that has taken place during these past 6 weeks. They have been an incredible time. Yes, I've been at my home in Bali, our home in Bali, I should say, and we've had a wonderful time celebrating the second anniversary of the SAHAJA Foundation. Through Donnie and contacts of his in the government, we were invited to create and to work with a group of incredibly gifted professionals in Bali to do a pilot on caregiving. And that began almost 3 years ago. It began with a series of conversations between me and these five incredible professionals. And who were they? One was the head of the geriatric unit of a major university, another the president of the University of the nursing school. There was a brilliant social worker. There was a brilliant person who is dealing in other areas of the medical world. So each of the four had a medical degree plus a PhD in their own given expertise. Very brilliant, caring, loving people. How it began, we began in conversation, and I really did and based it upon the You Are Not Alone series that I created 15 years ago at Emblem Health, talking about what is caregiving and being certain that we were all speaking the same language because we can use words and throw them around. But you have one thought and I have another thought. So it was very important that we talked about what is family, both family of origin and family of choice. That we talked about what is caregiving and what are the many faces of caregiving. It's not just elderly people like me. It is a great variety, and we keep finding more. So it was important for us to look at those two words, and then to look at both the care recipient, the professional caregiver, and the family caregiver. We are physical, emotional, and spiritual human beings. And we needed to talk about maintaining the physical, maintaining the emotional, and maintaining the spiritual. And then an area that's often not talked about, but is very much talked about in Southeast Asia, in Bali. Death is not something that's hidden. In fact, right now, Kuningan is the holiday that's happening in Bali. It's the end of the 10-day period from Galungan to Kuningan, at which the ancestors are believed to return. The spirits come, the spirits are honored. There are great celebrations, and now at Kunigan, they return. But there is that ever-present feeling of life's continuation, not just in this plane. And so in the Hindu and Muslim traditions, we have one understanding. But in all of caregiving, what is it about? It's about death, dying, and grief. And those are extremely important pieces. So, in creating this new foundation, that became a topic. And then the many blessings and gifts of caregiving. Those made up the YANA series. YANA is simply an acronym for You Are Not Alone. And YANA 2025 is going to be so exciting. I had the privilege of spending 2 full days taping with a brilliant camera crew in a very beautiful Balinese setting because I thought if I'm doing this in Indonesia, I don't want it to look like I'm sitting in Manhattan, and we certainly didn't do that. It's going to be very lovely, and I look forward to sharing it. Those were two very exciting pieces of this trip. Also, while I was there, this very kind and gracious honor that came to me from Yeli. It's an organization in Nigeria. It stands YELI, Youth Education and Leadership Initiative. And I'm deeply humbled and honored to have been selected as one of their change ambassadors for peace and unity. And I am going to have the privilege of working with them. With it comes an honorary doctorate degree, and that is extremely kind, but it is the last reason that I was interested in doing it. I was very interested in the fact that they're focusing on the youth because the youth are the world of tomorrow. And if we can be building in them an international alliance, just like we did in Indonesia with SAHAJA, it's very, very exciting. We've also had conversations with people in the Ukraine. We pray daily that resolution and wisdom will prevail and that the egos and the insanity of a few very, very sick people will be resolved and that peace can come to a wonderful, wonderful nation. And I've been working already with some of the medical professionals there, again on the principles that we have used in the SAHAJA model. Now, I'm very happy to say that with the Bali project, with the Indonesian project, one of the conditions that Donnie and I stated from the beginning was to the government was, yes, we'll be willing to work with the team, we'll be willing to create this foundation, but we will do it without any pay. It is a gift from us to them. And I did that for two reasons. One, I didn't want to be constructed, and Donnie quite agreed with me, by any financial commitment. But beyond that, I wanted the freedom, because this was an experiment, to see if what I've been doing for 25 years and a lot of other wonderful people here in New York and America and other parts of the world, but if I could translate that into a country in which there's the fourth largest population in the world, lots and lots of wonderful people. But out of 17,000 islands, 6,000 are inhabited, and three really only have good Wi-Fi and electricity. So it meant, what do we do in a situation? How do we teach? How do we share family caregiving? Well, fortunately, based on an earlier part of my life, I was aware that throughout Indonesia, and this is something sponsored very much years and years ago by the Rockefeller Foundation, and when I was in tourism, I would take the Rockefeller Foundation, their board of directors and heads of departments, to meet with the president in Indonesia and to look at the projects that they were doing. And all of them would be visiting the puskesmas, which are clinics. And I said, in there, in my opinion, is the success to the SAHAJA model. First, the integration of interdisciplinary actions. Secondly, doing away with titles and degrees and that sort of thing, not out of objecting to them, but leveling the playing field and becoming the family caregivers who became professional caregivers. So once we did that, we could then invite family caregivers to join, all on an equal basis. No caste system, no hierarchies, no difference, but oneness, all children of the divine, by whatever word you want to call it, caring one for the other. And that was the first principle. But then we needed to have the structure, and the structure that we came up with was using the puskesmas as the center, the geriatric care manager, a nurse who could be placed in each of those, who in turn would work with a group of, say, 10 nurses, each of whom would have 10 families that they would be responsible for. So it was this movement downward and upward in the conversations for family caregiving. We're happy that it has more than worked out. So, yes, we did the first ones very much on the basis of a gift from Donnie and me. As we go forward, it's going to need funding. And so I'm approaching this by reaching out to each and every one of you. I would appreciate your suggestions on foundations, on organizations, on corporations, because the SAHAJA model is perfect for building an international alliance. But that alliance can be a country, it can be a corporation. And to that end, I am putting together and looking forward to debut here in New York, corporate concierge caregiving, based upon the very same principles. And that corporation will become an international alliance again. For they're a family, a business family. And in a world in which so much here is being taken away with impunity and insanity, but it's the reality. So we can't buckle under that. We've got to go forward with what is the greatest resource in the world. It's human capital, and it is love. And that will prevail. That will be greater than all the hate that can be spewed by a few very sick and incompetent people. As we go forward, the next prayer in our book, Peace Be Still, is appropriately entitled Strength. And I remember writing that prayer. And so I'm going to conclude today as we seek the strength to go forward. I'm nearly 80, and it's my will, I shouldn't say I don't mean my will, it is my goal. It is my feeling that I am called to get this further. And so if I am, I will do that. For we want to unite the world in family caregiving. We are a family, and we do care, because each of us wants to love and be loved. And in caregiving, we show that. So let us pray together for strength. O Lord, thank you for the challenges of the past, for difficulties, physical, emotional, and spiritual. Thank you for walking me through what I never believed I could manage or do. In each I have learned of your love and your presence. Each has taught me that in all things God can and will resolve the problem. It is not for me to find the details or the resolution. It is for me to seek the willingness to turn to you. And in turning to you, I learn even more of your power, your love, your wisdom, and your presence. I am not alone, for you, the one presence and power, surround and live within me. May each step along this path point me more and more to you. May I ever learn and live knowing you dwell within me. May I ever learn and live knowing you dwell within my heart. I rejoice to affirm that I am not a human being trying to have a spiritual experience. I am a spiritual being having a human experience. It is then that I run to my true self, my spiritual self. I rest knowing that with you all things are possible for me, for my care recipient, for my family, and for the world. I thank you for this day, for the present challenges, and for the understanding that you, God, are setting all things according to your will. You are providing all I need to live a life that is joyous, free, of service and of honor to you. And it is so. As Louise Hay says, all is well. Everything that is happening is for my highest good. And in what I think may be a problem right now, only good will come. and I am safe. And therefore I go on in the strength of the Lord. Let's walk together as we unite the world in caregiving. God bless, and as we always say, onward in love and caregiving. Namaste. God bless, and I will see you real soon